Hi, for anybody that watches this is my theory of the universe. I don't have any proof for it or anything. This is just a theory that I came up with and sort of had things happen to me throughout my experience that made me sort of piece together certain pieces. This is not all my own, just figuring it out. So I'm going to start off from the top and try to build down to why we have this universe the way it is. So starting off, we start with one ultimate mind. That's ultimate mind theories, I guess there are as well. I don't specifically hear one like mine. So the ultimate mind exists, and it exists by itself, and it can do basically anything that it wants, create anything that it may desire as the ultimate mind. However, there's one thing, I guess at some point, ultimate mind is alone. There's no one for it to converse with. And this sort of comes down to maybe the first rule of any living thing, be it just a mind that is living, is there is the rule of what I call surprise. When you have two beings, one can surprise the other one with an action. The other one did not know that action was coming. There is an emotion that comes along with this surprise element, and so their theory is with two there is surprise. The rule that with two there is a surprise that can happen emotionally. So as basically God, being one perfect insane mind, decided that it wanted to experience what that extra emotion was, that it could not. And it's a rule in the fabric of anything that exists, is this rule of surprise. With two, there is surprise. With one, there can't be surprise because you're one entity. So the ultimate mind basically had to decide, because the ultimate mind can do anything. Remember, this is the ultimate mind. If it wants to make itself believe that it's a shoe, then it's a shoe. But it has to fully decide that and commit that it's a shoe, and then it'll be a shoe. And it can't be anything else. It's the ultimate mind. Whatever it decides is it will be done perfectly. So the ultimate mind, in my assessment, was thinking, what else could I do? How can I know how far I can extend? I want more experiences than just this. I want to feel that surprise. And so the ultimate mind had to come down to the decision, and this is the biggest decision, which is to say, I am not one, I am many. In my opinion, many would be many of the same thing at the starting stage. Although I can't know to how many pieces God decided to separate himself into from the start. But basically, that one super functioning mind is so powerful, it could do the same thing with two minds as well, be just as powerful. Question is, how much can you extend it? And so the first decision that basically God had to make was, I'm kind of bored with this situation. I want to feel what surprise feels like. I am not one, I am many. And from there, the whole world story unfolds. Now I'm going to get to our planet. Why our planet is the way that it is. Now the complexities of this planet are insane. You just look at a leaf, and each leaf is, unique in its own way, and we just pass by, driving in our cars, and the amount of details we just take for granted. So nothing I'm saying here is, like super intelligent stuff. It's because to know the reason why somebody's doing something is not even close to the details of actually doing it. But I look at this planet of ours, and there's pain, there's suffering, there's stupid people, there's evil, in my opinion, and you look at it and it's like, what is this? Is a mess. No God would ever create such a planet. Just sitting idly by to rape and murder, like, that's a horrible God, and I do believe that. But you'll see how God comes into my theory. But the planet what is this planet doing very well? And you know what this planet is doing very well? And just play at this idea and just see if the world doesn't just seem to continuously look like it works with this framework. This world is the maybe perfect balance to get us to get us to create, to get me to make me want to share this with you. So I as if can let, it's not my creation because it's, a lot of different thoughts, but I want to share this somehow. I want to create. And everybody in this world, be it in any situation, sometimes don't want to, whatever, this world makes a situation where you want to create. And you know what? It's doing that very well. When you listen to a song, that song was crafted by this world being exactly the way it is with the rules that it has, and that's why this piece of art can be enjoyed. The amount of advancement in technology and in commerce that this world has gone through, that it's just, there's so many avenues of art or an amazing expression to be created, and all through this situation where people are fighting the startup that somebody's created. He's fighting for it. Is he gonna make it? I don't know. Every day he's got to work, and then at some point he's able to sell that for millions of dollars. Let's just say that this world kind of forced him to create that type of way. And, there's people with more desire to create, less desire to create, but we're all here creating at one point or another. And that was the point of this planet. And you know what? It's not slow. It's as if this mind wanted to see how far it could go and basically chose, in a certain sense, the most painless path. Although there's tons of pain here, but to put people in a situation where they have to create and they have to be, they have to have like ingenuity and be creative and really bring out the best of them while still not having everything absolutely fall apart to the point that there's no point, so everybody would be hopeless. And that's kind of what we see in this world. Now, that being said, I do believe that evil is a real thing and something that we should not, aspire to, and that there are punishments for that. So, as I said, this planet, with whatever soul, so I'll go back now. God created himself into many different little pieces. Now, any group of souls can basically band together and play a game if they want. They go, okay, let's all imagine the same world at the same time, and no one's allowed to deviate from this, which means, again, everyone has to be part of this world and under the same rules. They decide that, and then those souls can meet in that world and do whatever they wanted to do. But they have to basically, and I think that death is the safe word basically for the soul to go back to, consciousness. So basically this world was built with a bunch of souls. I don't know what was the first intention, other than, massive amounts of creation and expression. But this world was created by a band of souls that agreed to come together and share the same picture, and then basically react to one another. And by reacting to one another, they could bring out more ideas and more creations and create more memories that afterwards they, instead of wanting to go out and say, I need more surprise, I can just enjoy my memories of everything that I've done, and I'm an ultimate mind, so I can enjoy those memories to the like every sip of juice that you had in real life. You can absolutely imagine that as the ultimate mind. You just don't have the element of surprise, but you can relive anything that you've existed. And so this planet is basically a way to give little gods, little souls, a chance to gain memories and also see how each one of them fares in this world. How would they fare? It's like kind of like a person that goes into a lab, puts on a head machine, and it sort of puts them into a scenario like in a video game. And let's just say in that video game, he's really mean and kills somebody or something. Then he gets out of the video game and realizes that his family is watching from the other room, and they are just they're devastated by what he did in that game. Basically, so this world is the souls that decided to come here and basically and live together this joint reality, and there's other souls hovering around that are not in this reality, but they are maybe they'll come to join, maybe they've had enough of the life cycles, they don't want to come join anymore. But those souls that don't want to join anymore are all good. They haven't hurt. Now again, as I said, it's one mind who separated himself into many. So by hurting anybody else, you're actually hurting yourself in a certain way. You are a worse person for hurting others because they are you. In a sense, we're all one. And every time you hurt another, you are actually hurting yourself, literally, in the grand scheme. So any soul, and this is where I get to karma actually, with any soul that decides to, does bad things in this world, it will, leave the body, and when it goes out, it doesn't have the animal form that is here, the animal form that made it do lust and whatever it is. It's just a pure soul, and a pure soul that is connected to all other souls. And what do you feel then? No one has to put that soul through hell. Guilt alone will put it through hell, and it will burn and burn. And that burning is a pure soul that is now good, realizing all the bad that it's done. And that burning can be immense, intense, and really painful. I've felt what real guilt has felt like inside, and it is an awful feeling. And I stayed a relatively good person, and that's why in a sense, sort of, I'm not that good, of course, but I'm just saying I can feel guilt because I really try hard not to hurt other people, and guilt is a terrible feeling. Now, where does this come to karma? Now, let's just say a soul came into this world in a certain level, chose a decent family, whatever, and then, he did some bad things throughout his life, took some bad choices, hurt people, and hurt them, not because, not for a good reason. And that soul dies, and the soul goes up, and now it's burning with the guilt. Is that soul going to choose a better life than the life it had? It's not going to choose a better life. Because if it does, it'll just add to the guilt and the shame. Because if you go back in and choose a better life, when you go back out to all the other souls that are there, the collective soul, the God, they'll just be like, you did what you did in your life, and then you went back and took a pleasurable position, you took a good life afterwards, you're even worse. Now you have even more to atone for, even more guilt. So a soul that's burning will choose a worse situation if it did poorly in life, just so it can at least try to atone for its sins in the past and try to live a better life from there. Because if it's like, okay, well, I had a worse situation, now I managed to be better, then it can atone a little bit for some of the sins that it did in the past. And this situation, this whole world is not perfect. And I'm wondering how many questions were along the way, like how much the first ultimate mind think to itself, this world, I'm ready. I internalize the amount of pain we're all about to feel just to get this. I don't know to that extent. If, this world could have been a world that basically, there's minds that come in and then more minds come in and more minds come in, and, you can't change the order of things because the first mind's already set it in motion. So now I want to go to the concept of God. Now, how does God fit into all of this? As I said, there is sort of a literal hell already for souls that'll just happen to themselves. So what is God? For me, unlike many people, I, get very frustrated with this world, and this world makes me very angry at times. But one of the things that made it easier for me was the God concept that I sort of got, which is God is basically just a collective of souls, a blanket of souls that is on the outside. And they love you. They love every single one of us. Every one of us when we are connected to our God part. But not when we're connected to the animal, which is the other side of this. The spectrum, if a person is just in his animalistic sense, is just an animal, then there's hardly any God left in him. Is just running off of his animal part. But if a person is connected to his God part, then the person maybe can access, first of all, maybe some love feelings from the God part, and also maybe some direction, being connected, like, God, help me through the situation, and you somehow feel like you're interacting with people a little better, a little differently, and you somehow feel, and to me, God is righteous in this sense. God is not going to make you, guide your hand whilst you're doing something evil, inherently evil, that is evil. God won't guide your hand there, but God will, as if we stand and we're present for a little bit, we're usually not hateful, bad people. We're usually trying to solve problems of the second. And so we can experience God that way, but God has no dominion over this planet. And how could he? God is just a lot of separate little souls. A collective that is a good collective. Now, in this planet, the bad collective might try to, oust the good one. I'm not going to get into that, though. But basically, sorry, I lost my train of thought. When you're attached to your God part, God didn't make the rules of this planet. God cannot give you anything more than just be with you and let you feel the life. He has no dominion over this planet. But God, people that are connected to their God part, can connect together on this planet and maybe be guided ever so slightly in certain situations through extra knowledge that you get by being connected to your God part and doing the path that you should be doing, the path you were meant to do from before you came onto this planet, to this existence. And so now I'm going to go into what does it mean to exist right now. So what I'm saying is, when we exist, that we are all ultimate minds. Now, we might see our mind right now and go, that's not such a great mind. I definitely doubt my own mind. But there's one thing that this mind, think about it, if it's an ultimate mind, what is an ultimate task? And an ultimate task is to create everything that you see around you. To create this whole world, and that every soul complies with, in tandem with another soul, 100%. When one other soul comes into your sphere and is around where you're supposed to be, he's there. You hit a table, it's gonna hurt your hand. And no matter how you try, you can't break that. And that's something that exists in the mind and in our experience. And it's like, we go, I'm not living this life correctly. I'm not doing everything I should. I definitely know the feeling of that. But there's one thing as if we're all doing all the time exactly correctly, which is complying to the rules of the universe. No one said that we have to be nice in this planet. That wasn't one of the rules. that you have to be nice. Honestly, it's hard to know exactly when you should be nice. There's so many, cases. Each case has to be judged case by case basis. So that wasn't one of the rules that you had to comply with. The element of that the God part is doing right now is creating this whole reality, creating all these other souls, and that it's taking up massive amounts of bandwidth, that an ultimate mind can do, and it's always doing it correctly. You're always part of this universe until you die, and then you're not. And so when you think about it that way, you think to yourself, in that sense, we're all God. Although it might still feel like, well, I'm not, such a God. I try to make my decisions, but I don't make the best decisions. But think about it this way. If you were a God and you had your brain and your life situation and your everything, would God actually make a better decision than you? With the narrow vantage point and all that other stuff, God is just an idea, it's just running ideas. There's no reason, so we might be thinking just as good as God could think in a certain situation. Now, if we're more connected to our God part or less connected to our animalistic emotions, we may make a better decision about whatever situation we are and maybe use our brain in a better fashion. But basically, our God part is we're living a life that would even maybe test a God. We are living a life where even this trials and tribulations of this world with such a narrow vantage point would even require is a test for a God, even, to be honest. So that's my main theory over there about everything, just condensed to what it needs to be. Honestly, it doesn't need to be any longer than this. And I'd love to hear people elaborate on this. I think that a lot of this comes to personal experience. I'm wondering if other people have felt things throughout their lives that have guided them somewhat to this understanding. And even if it's slightly a different understanding, I'd be very interested to hear what other types of understandings could be that would maybe have some elements that are the same, some elements that are not. Of course, what I'm saying over here is, again, God in a sense is we are all God in a certain sense, and but bound by the rules of this universe. But I don't remember where I was going with that, so I'll just leave it. That's enough. Thank you if you did watch and listen all the way, and I'd love to hear your perspectives on all of this. I don't know if people have thought about this in the way that I have, and I'm just interested to see if anybody else is really catching my drift, and just love to hear other experiences and understandings. And maybe this this is something I'd love for other people to test this out in their lives and see if this somehow they get a glimpse of this somewhere as being correct or incorrect. I'm just open to sharing this because I find it to be interesting, and I find that it doesn't contradict the universe that we see per se, and in any throughout any of the line of reasoning over here, it kind of all fits together in my opinion. Anyway, thank you for watching.